I mean, I get people sliding into my DMs, but a lot of them are obviously you just get like the random accounts that you don't know. I'm not single, like I would never speak to anyone else, like I wouldn't look at anyone else, you know.
You mentioned it in the latest video, this whole Love Island thing. Spill the beans on that there.
Here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack. Welcome back, talking shit, I'm drinking wine, like and subscribe. Here's the crack.
How's it going, people? Welcome back to the Here's the Crack podcast. We've got another guest on today, Katie Green. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You're probably used to the cameras, like.
I'm used to the camera, I'm not used to like the microphones and other people.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I feel like it's the other people bit that's throwing me off.
No, but thank you very much for coming on.
No problem.
You have a wee icebreaker question.
So we want to start doing like an icebreaker question, I guess, like because every other podcast seems to do it. Like, but so the question is, if you were to have your own podcast and you could have anyone in the world on, like obviously like if someone famous or whatever, who would you have on and why?
I think the first person that comes to my head is Kylie Jenner. I don't know why, because she's so famous, but also I just feel like so many people would want to know juicy things about her life. Like that would be a podcast that would do well for me because it's her, and I could just sit down and grill her like so many questions. Like I feel like I would ask her a lot of personal questions in the hope that she would just answer them. So I think it would maybe be her or Chris, because again Chris is so interesting. She's sort of like the puppet master. So I feel like she'd be a good one as well.
Is the Kardashians just people who you like have watched like forever? Like,
I do love the Kardashians. I know a lot of people hate on them, but I don't hate on them. I do really like them. I wouldn't say I like idolize them and stuff, but I can't say I didn't watch their show and stuff. Like I love their show. I was got it whenever it was finished. But no, I do really like them.
They're just enough. Like my sister used to watch them. Like
their life's just so interesting.
Yeah. My sister used to watch them all the time whenever I was younger, and I would like come in and I'd be like, turn that crap off. But like watching out of the corner of my peripherals, I was like,
you get like hooked on it.
What's Kim up to today? Like? And then the rows were first class. Like
the rows were mental.
But I suppose the first place to start would be, how did you get into YouTube? Because you obviously like. You have a YouTube channel, maybe you can explain a bit more about it. We've learned that you've just passed 6k. Yeah. Well done.
Thank you.
But yeah, explain how you get into that and whatnot.
So I started YouTube like a year and a half ago, and it's just something that I always wanted to do. Like, I think like way back, maybe like third year, second year is whenever I first was like, this would be such a good, not even job, just such a fun hobby. So it was sort of always in my head for years. And then there was a few times where I went to start it, like I was like planning to film a video, and then I just chickened out last minute. Like I was like, no, I'm not doing it. And then there was one night where I honestly had like an epiphany, and I was like, why am I not doing this here? Like, who cares? I think I was just older and a wee bit more mature, where I could like deal with people's opinions more, whereas whenever I really wanted to do it, I was in school, and I was like, no way could I start this, then come into school the next day and have like people talking about me, older people talking about me. So I just never did it. And then one day I was like, no, I'm gonna, and I did it. And it was honestly, it was not as bad as what I thought it was going to be. Like, it was oddly exciting putting it up and thrilling. And then I got like a really positive response. Like I didn't really get any people hating on me. All the girls like from my town and stuff and area around me were like so supporting. So it just made it easy from then on then. And
then like how did that continue growing that? Did it just start off like your sort of friends and all followed you, and then
it did. I can't remember how many I got straight away, but I do remember thinking like it was a number I didn't think I would have got so soon, like after like a week or so. And then same with my Instagram followers, like I remember I gained a lot, and I was thinking, whoa, like I did not think that was going to happen. But I don't know, like where I'm from is just a small place, and because no one else was doing it, it sort of did help me because it made more people like talk about it. Like it was more of a bigger deal, and I think that's what got more people knowing about it. It's just due to people gossiping and stuff, which was a good thing because it did help it grow quicker. Yeah,
go ahead.
Was your Instagram, was it like, so your Instagram, did you have many followers on it before you started the YouTube? Like did it help much, or was it?
It didn't have much. Like I wish I wrote down the numbers. 4 I think I was at, and then I remember like in the space of a few months I
4,000
4,000 4,000.
It's not 4 followers.
400,000. I think it was either 3,000 or 4,000, and then I remember in like 2 months it had went up 1,000. So that was like the quickest it had ever grew. But I definitely wasn't on a high number at all before YouTube. Like YouTube is whenever it just started to go up.
And like what what got you into it? Like, why did you want to get into it? Like, was it always kind of something you just was like, oh, forget? But like, what sort of? Because everybody goes into the YouTube channels, like we do the podcast, and then like there's obviously people who are like photography based. Like, what was it you seen yourself doing that you thought, if I integrated a camera in this, I think people would enjoy watching me?
I always thought whenever I was younger I would do makeup videos, because that's what I was watching at the time. Like, I feel like back then vlogs and stuff, they weren't really as popular, and like even other videos that I don't really do, but like challenges and stuff weren't really as popular. So I always imagined myself doing makeup videos, and then whenever I started my YouTube channel, I was like, I will not be doing makeup videos because I'm not even into makeup. I think it was just not like a peer pressure, but you know, whenever like I just thought because other people were doing it, then I would do that there. But then whenever I started filming videos, I remember at the start I did like a few different ones. Like if you scroll down, there's like really random videos. Like there's one of me like going charity shopping in Newcastle, and like it was fun at the time, but now I'm like, I would never film a video like that. I would probably just incorporate that into a vlog. There wouldn't be a whole video based on that. But I think at the start, because I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to film and what I enjoyed filming, and then also what people wanted to see. So after like a few months of doing different videos, I could tell from my views and from the responses what people liked and like what ones weren't as popular, and also what I enjoyed the most.
And who would you been watching on YouTube? Like, who did you like? Or
well, again, ages ago, like it would have been people like Shani Grimm, and I don't think Iz would even know her, which is like she was like big back in the day, and it would have been people like her who made me want to do it at the very, very start. But now, and even whenever I started my channel, I'm pretty sure the only people I really watched was like Olivia Neal, Molly May, and I honestly don't even think I really watch anyone else other than them two. It's just random people, but I would say those two are definitely my favourite. And Emma Chamberlain, she's probably my first favourite actually.
Oh yeah, I know her.
Everyone loves Emma Chamberlain.
And do you think there is like a lack of like female YouTubers? Like, do you think that's why you're
I
doing
think
well?
in like Northern Ireland, like there's before Olivia Neal, there's no one I really knew doing it, and there's not even people I knew doing it with like smaller followings and stuff. Like I just generally didn't know anyone. So I do think there's definitely room for people like in Northern Ireland, more people to be doing it, because I feel like it's really popular in the UK, but it's not really so much here, probably just because it's smaller. And
but I think God, it's changing. Like,
it
even
has
like with TikTok,
changed,
but like it's with boys and girls as well. Like there's not many boys. We were the same when we started doing the podcast. We were like other than like comedians and stuff, there were like there's no one else really doing this type of thing. Like, and then that's
there's a big fear factor with it as well. Like, could you imagine coming back into school like at like 16, 17, 18, and then the shit you get the next day would be
it's
just
school was the most like daunting thing to do anything like this here, which is probably another reason a lot of people don't do it. They're probably waiting to leave school.
But at the same time, there's so many young ones who'll say, I want to be a vlogger whenever I grow up.
Yeah, it's so funny though, because like we had this conversation not too long ago where people were talking about like secondary school, and it's all like, oh, secondary school, like so many people will say like secondary school made me the person I am today, and I'm like, no, it did not make me the person I am today. But like the fact that we got to walk around uni in Jordanstown and no one actually knew us was uni like, right, let's do it.
So much better.
When you get into your 20s as well, you're sort of just like, no one really gives a fuck
exactly.
about you. Like,
I feel like you do hit an age where you're like, no one really cares what anyone else does.
Exactly.
Like that's what makes you think.
You're only really holding yourself back type of thing.
But you study, you're in uni in Newcastle, like, so do you think going over there and like sort of getting out of Northern Ireland, do you think that maybe gave you a push to start YouTube? Like, do you think it, or
I definitely do. Just moving from like a small town to a big city, again, like no one knows each other. Like you can, it's even small things like what you wear. Like you can walk down the street and it's not as many people are going to look at you if you're wearing an outfit that's a wee bit more out there. It's even just wee small things like that. So going from like a small town to a big city just made it so much easier, because I knew like no one was going to know who I am, you know, if I'm walking around a shop or something, whereas like I'm from like Limavady, which is small, so everyone knows each other, you know, like you go into Tesco and you're going to meet like everyone you went to school with and all, and I knew that wasn't really the case in Newcastle, so again it just made it so much easier.
Would that be one thing that, like, say you are coming down the street in Belfast or something, would you often get recognised? Or
no, and Ellen were like walking down and she was like, wonder does like anyone here watch your videos, and I was like, no, Belfast is like bigger than Derry, and I'm like, definitely not. Like I wasn't worried about getting like stopped by anyone there or anything. No, definitely not.
Would you get recognised at home in Derry?
Like on nights out like whenever I go to the toilet and there's girls there, like they would be like, oh well, like we watch your videos and stuff, but it's not really like I get like stopped in the street and someone's like, oh my god. It's just more of like a passing comment. Like they'll be like, oh, like I served someone in work and she was like, oh, I love your YouTube videos, and I was like, oh, you know, it's not really like someone coming running up to me.
Oh my god. But no, because when we done the podcast with the Juice Jar girls, they were on about like Olivia Neal, and they said there's one day she came in here.
I seen that.
But
I
like,
seen that.
how do you think you'd cope like if you did get that level? Do you think is it scary in a way?
Whenever I heard that, I felt really bad for her. It was whenever she was like, oh, she had like her hood up and stuff, and I was just thinking like she probably literally came out for a drink and she can't get a minute's peace, and she obviously wouldn't care. Like she probably just like it, you know, like she sort of knew things like this would happen, like the bigger you get. But it is a wee bit lousy, I think, if
that's crazy.
You can't get like a minute's peace in that, and I don't really know how I would cope. Like I definitely would never be like telling anyone to like get away from me and stuff. Like I would love it as well, I think, but it would definitely get overwhelming.
It is mad though, the way that people kind of like, I think once you get to that level, then people almost start to feel comfortable because they think, you know, like they know you. Like because we were reading that, like for some reason, I don't know why, we appeared in a Belfast Live article the other day, right? And it was about Olivia Neal, right? So we had done a podcast and we were talking about Olivia Neal being like the face of Ryanair. This whole conspiracy theory, like we were just talking about it, and then Shay had sort of made the point that it was like it's not really her content, because like her content's kind of more like random stuff. It's not really like,
I call her a dancer, and people didn't take didn't take too kindly to that.
But like it wasn't like a dig or anything, but then some Belfast Live done an article. It was actually Dublin Live done the article, and then Belfast Live decided then to come in and just like copy it. But they were just like, oh, like the lads on Here's the Crack are convinced that it's not actually her, and pure taking it really seriously. And then I think there was one point where they just like, oh, she rarely leaves her South Belfast home and all this here, and I was just like, what?
Oh
like,
my goodness!
It's like I would feel so like, who's watching me outside my home, like. Because the article specifically said it was like Olivia who rarely leaves her South Belfast home, and I was like, no, this is levels of creepy. Like,
yeah, like where would they have got that information?
exactly.
That's definitely just someone's picked that up wrong or something.
Weird, like.
Yeah, like things like that would be like really infuriating to read.
When you're sort of signing up for it as well, like, but
exactly.
But then like people are human as well.
Yeah.
Like that's what I was so shocked at, is like in Belfast, you think like people would sort of be like, oh, like she's from here, you know, leave her alone type of thing. But I don't know.
I feel like as well she has like her following are a lot younger. Like I think you can tell from like her TikTok comments and stuff, like whenever she was getting loads of hate and stuff, I was like, people would say this are really old like trolls or really young immature people, and I think you could tell then her following, like she had a lot of younger people. So I think like I obviously when she goes out in the street, I would understand like loads of younger girls going up to her and stuff, because they probably like, you know, they're not as mature. Like I love Olivia Neal, but I'm not going to go running up to her in the street and like beg for a selfie and stuff, you know. So
You're not on TikTok, are you?
I am. Yeah.
What like do you get like any comments or anything like that?
Oh my goodness. So I put up a TikTok not that long ago, and I got so much hate on it. It was like my first time experiencing hate. So like it was like me doing like the worst dance. I'm not a dancer. Like I cannot dance, but I was like, we were like out sunbathing and I was like, I'm gonna do this wee dance. I put it up, but it was like at the side of my house, and on the side of my house there's like a stain on the wall. Like it's just like it's been built for a while, and like so many people were commenting on it, like slagging off my house. Pick up. Like they were being like sorry about the house fire, and there was like so many comments on
Are you okay?
Honestly, there was so much hate, and then people just started to be like, she can't paint her house or dance, and I was like, go on, leave me alone.
It's so funny as well. Like you do get genuine funny ones as well.
It was laughable.
We always say like and like. Everybody picks up on that. Everybody picks up on that.
Say it like one more time.
I say that all the time though.
But that's just the way we speak.
But to be fair, I was editing the clip bars the other day, and I listened back to it, and I said, God, Ross, like you just need to stop saying like, because I was like, so like I went in here like, do you know what I mean? Like, and you were like,
I edit out like.
Stop.
I'm probably the worst for it.
I edit that out as well all the time. Like you'll just see my videos like mid conversation or mid sentence, there's like we jump. That's because I'm editing out like or like the F word or something.
But have you sort of like, whenever you're doing your videos, would you be really meticulous about like how you edit it, or would you like sort of go for a more raw, like, because it is kind of your lifestyle? Because I watched that video where you're in the car, you're just, I'm just gonna go get a wee Starbucks or something, and I was like, fair enough.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be really strict on like my editing. I think mainly because I just really struggle to enjoy editing videos now. It's not that I don't enjoy it, and I'll always do it myself. Like I would never hire anyone to edit my videos, but it's just so long and tedious that I'm like, let's just get this edited and done. So therefore I'm not really like strict, and it's not like there's loads of skillful things in it. It is very basic editing. That's probably the way it'll stay.
Fair enough. But sort of where do you see it going now? Like, because you seem to be on like a pretty good trajectory where like, because I think the fact that you were like, oh, I'm on 5k and then it's like, no, you're on 6, am I? And we were just sitting there going like, 791.
Where do I see it going? I don't really know. Like, I don't want to get too hung up on if I'm not going to make a career out of it. You know, like obviously I'm not going to say no. Like I don't want to be negative, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and be like, this is my life, because then if I don't like achieve that goal of being able to do it full time, you know, like I'll be gutted. So at the minute, I just still see it being more of like on the side. Like I'm obviously still in uni and I'll be graduating this year, and I'm going to keep doing it as well. And if I get like, you know, a post-grad job, and I'll just do it on the side as well, but I'm not really going to put the stress on myself of having to do it whenever I finish uni and it being my job, because I know, you know, if I'm not able to do that, then I'll be gutted that I haven't like achieved that. So
you don't want to put pressure on it.
I put a lot of pressure on myself sometimes with it, and then it leads to me not enjoying it. Like I'll take like weeks off, like not filming a video, and then I get annoyed that I haven't put one up, but it's because I'm not enjoying doing it, because I'm putting too much pressure that I need to like succeed in it.
Just on to like the Instagram and stuff, like you've got like a few brand deals and all. Like I can't speak.
No, neither can
I sort of want to know like how do they work, because like you see ones of like sort of like they're part of like, what is it, like influencer agencies and stuff, but like are you on your own, or do you?
I'm on my own,
and how does that work then?
Well, like I've not really had influencer agencies like contact me to get work. I have had a few. Most of them though just come directly from the brand, so like I'll just get an email from their brand, and you can obviously tell whenever it's real, you know, like they have all the wee things down below, like their contact numbers and all, and I always check that it's a real number and all that there, and then they just contact, and then you go from there, just email back and forward, and that's it.
But that's one thing I've always wondered about them brand deals, like are they kind of sketchy when someone approaches you with them, like, or it's not obviously, like say for example who are you with at the minute, like maybe you can't.
What do you mean?
You've
like
like
what
done
brands?
JD and all, haven't you?
Oh yeah, who have I worked? Yeah, like JD.
It's not JD DMing you or something, is it?
No, it's normally like it'll be someone from like their marketing team, and that'll be like in the title of like, not in the title, but at the end it'll say like from like James, marketing person,
but it'll be like an email.
But it'll be an email, and then normally they just have information at the very bottom, so they'll have like contact numbers, like other emails and stuff like of JD, so you can normally tell like if it's going to be fake and if it's going to be real. The first thing to do is just Google the numbers, like you're going to know if it's a fake number.
Have you got
stuff.
fake ones before?
I actually haven't. Like some go into my junk, which are definitely fake, but I've never got one where I've replied to and I'm like, this is fake.
I got caught out.
Yeah.
But what way, like how does that work then, from like in terms of like, do you discuss money and stuff and all, like what way does that work? Or
it normally does. So a lot of brands will just chance their arm and they'll not bring up a price, so then I'll just have to reply and be like, I used to be like, is this your paid work, but now I'll just be like, this is my fee. I feel like you just have to put your foot down, because big brands will try and sort of take the piss and see if they can get it like as low and stuff, and if you're like, this is my rates, then they're a bit like, okay, we're gonna have to do this. Like if you make it look like there's not really up for negotiating, the price and the money is definitely something I've just had to learn as I go. Like I don't have management, and I don't really think management is for me at the minute, so I've sort of just had to suss out what's reasonable and what's not, and then like as my followers have grew, like the price like increases and stuff. But yeah, I've just sort of figured out.
And how does
like,
like,
what's
how
reasonable.
do you set a price? Like how did you like look into that? Like that just seems so sort of hard to do.
I sort of went off that how much work you have to do, like how much stories and stuff, and how many photos. But then also like my cousin will sort of do Instagram and stuff as well, and I asked her like what her prices were, and I sort of like just compared like followers and like likes and stuff, and I was like, well, one, like can I be asking for like around the same, and then that's sort of what I went off.
Yeah.
So now I just have like a set price that I'll use, but if it is like a big brand, I'll try and like get more. I'll like chance my arm and up it a bit.
When was like the first like time someone like approached you from a brand, like, and was that kind of like, were you like, oh my god, this is weird?
Yeah, I think the first brand I ever got was Lounge, and they approached me in the first lockdown, so it was sort of quite not fresh. I'd been doing it for a few months, but that was like the first big one. Like I remember whenever I got that email, I was like, oh my god, like I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And that was like the first big one where I was like, wow.
Yeah,
that must have been class.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Buzzing.
It was a really good feeling.
Yeah.
The JD one was, I nearly died. I could not believe
That's
it.
mad,
I rang my mum straight away and just like, guess who just emailed me, and she could not believe it either.
so is that just work as in like, oh, like do they give you like a voucher to go buy like products and then you have to post about it?
So for JD, it was like, for example, for that, it was like a campaign for their Adidas trainers. So I got like 2 trainers for free, and then they were like, just pick 2 outfits, whatever your choice.
Yeah.
So that was really good because they
That's
didn't,
sick.
it wasn't like it was 2 items. They were like,
Yeah.
just go and pick 2 full, they were like, just go and pick 2 like full outfits. So I was like picking like top, trousers, socks, hoodies,
Yeah.
and they didn't even say anything. And I was
That's
like,
class.
I
I'd just
know.
been picking the most expensive things and returning them.
But like,
Yeah.
is there deals I got where like you will get free stuff, but like do you get paid on that as well?
A lot of places would do like just on a gifting basis, so they would be like, can we just gift you these for like a story or whatever. And I do those if I really like the clothes and stuff. Then
Yeah.
I'll be like, yeah, no problem. Like Motel Rocks gifted me, and they were like, it's in the very first email, they were like, look, this is just for TikTok, like it's just on a gifting basis, like we don't have a budget or anything. And I was like, you know what, that's fine, because I love
Yeah.
Motel Rocks, and if I do it right, then maybe they'll want to work with me again.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to be like, no, like I need money for this year, because why would I, whenever I shop on there and I love their clothes?
Yeah.
So yeah, like give it to me for free. The money's just a bonus.
Have you turned anyone away, like, because you hear about ones, oh, I don't actually like their stuff, so like I'm not gonna post about it?
I've
or-
turned loads away with stuff that I don't like. Like they have offered money, but I'll obviously go on straight away and see the clothes and stuff, and straight away I know like if I'm gonna wear it, if I like it. But also people are gonna know rightly if I'm lying and I'm putting up a photo in something that's not nice. Like they're just gonna look at my other photos and be like, that is just not her style. So yeah, I have said no, but I've also said no to brands that I do like but aren't willing to like pay. Like that sounds a wee bit bratty, but like for example, I had a brand contact me, and they'd worked with Molly May and stuff. They obviously had a budget, and like if they had have been like, can you put up a story, I would have did it. But they were like, so can you film a YouTube video, an Instagram photo, and like 3 stories? And I was like, well, no, not really. I was like, it's obviously going to cost money, especially to edit a YouTube
And they
video.
were looking to do it free.
And
or
then
what,
they
or-
just replied and be like, oh, sorry, we really wanted to do this on like a gift in. And I just really nice, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, but like I just, you know, I'm still in uni and stuff, and I just don't really have the time to be doing all that there. Maybe another time. But I really wanted that stuff as well. Like I did really want it, but I was like, I feel like you have to put your foot down, because brands will try and take advantage of you.
I think
So I had to say no.
that is really helpful though, because like for people, I think we would kind of be the same if we were ever approached like do anything like that. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of young ones now who are like starting out, like, and they're like doing the whole YouTube thing, and like if they grow, like I feel like brands could just leech off them, like, and then that's you going down a
Suppose,
rabbit
like,
hole. Do you know
what
what
sort
I mean?
of advice would you have for like younger girls and stuff who are trying to get into it?
Like, do you mean in terms of like the money management and
when do you like
draw the
how do you
line sort
value
of?
yourself? If you know what I mean?
I think at the start it is really difficult to work out, but the first thing I would look at is how much stuff they're asking you to do. It's completely different if they are asking you like for one thing, but if they're asking you for loads of stories and photos and a YouTube video, then you're sort of like, a lot of time and effort goes into this behind the scenes. Like a brand shouldn't really feel like you have to do it, you know, unless like loads of like local brands have contacted me, and I would never like charge them, because people are getting started out just like me. Like I don't think that, like, there's no way I'm at the stage where I can be like turning down like people that would help me out, you know. Like I'm sort of still going, so are they, you know, so like you help each other. So there's no way I would charge like people like that there if they wanted me to like promote their clothes. Obviously if I liked them and I would wear them, then I would just do that for free, no problem. But I just think you have to look at how much you're being asked to do.
And like, if you don't mind saying, like, what sort of like is the range, if you know what I mean? Like, is there like,
what do you mean?
in terms of like what you charge, like for like the likes of a YouTube video or a post? Like? You don't have to say if you don't want to. We can cut this out. Like,
No, do you mean like a price?
yeah, just mean like, what do you charge? Like, if someone comes to you, it's like, I want you to do like a YouTube video, I want you to do a photo. It's just like, even if it's a broad range.
No, I don't want to answer.
You don't want to answer that.
Only because I go to
5K.
answer. Only because I go to answer all the time on YouTube, and then I'm like, maybe I just shouldn't talk numbers.
Yeah.
Only because I'm like, I think it's cringy, but also once you set a price, then I'd be worried that a brand would be like, that's her price. Like, don't know more than that, you know.
No, that's fine.
And if you were like 1 million subscribers
and they're still
5 years on, hey, can we work with you? Oh, well, you actually said in this podcast.
Yeah.
You're still on 790
There's so many
subscribers themselves.
There is so many times I've went to say like rough prices, but then I'm like, you know what, nah.
No.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So going on, like, in terms of, you've obviously had your brand deals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned it in the latest video, this whole Love Island thing.
Yeah.
Spill the beans on that there.
Okay, well, I really did overshare in that video about Love Island. But yeah, basically I just got contacted around the start of May, and they just wanted me for an interview. You know, they were like, we're at the end of our casting, but we would still love to put you forward for an interview. And I had like phone calls back and forward, and then she just fast tracked me straight to the end. Obviously, because like they didn't, I don't think it was because I was something special. I think it was just, she was like, we don't have time to go through the stages. Like, we need to basically go to the last one. So I just did like a recorded interview for the Zoom, or recorded Zoom for the producers. And they were like, if you've got it, you know, you'll hear back in 2 to 3 weeks. If you haven't, you won't hear back. And I didn't hear back. So I sort of knew, obviously I knew after like 3 weeks it was a no.
Yeah.
But it was a really quick process. Like, people get contacted like literally in like September and stuff. Whereas I was contacted last minute. But people that get messaged really early, I don't know how they sit about and wait, because it is such a mind.
You're not allowed to tell anyone, are you?
No, you're not allowed to tell anyone. To be fair though, she didn't actually discuss that with me, like the whole like not talking about it to people and stuff. Like, she never mentioned any of that, but I think it's obviously just known. But I didn't really tell many people, because whenever I was first like contacted, I was very much like, oh, will I do it, will I not? I wasn't going to go around and tell everyone, because then it would just be a rumor that I was like going to do it.
Yeah.
So I just like told like close friends and stuff, and obviously they were all like, yeah, you're doing this, like you're doing it. Like,
so that would have been for this year's Love Island. One thing we wanted to ask you then, is there anyone, just looking back on it, on the season, is there anyone you would have coupled up with, or
I feel
who would
like
have been your type?
I feel like looking back, it's such a good thing I didn't go on, because I would have been voted off from the people. Like, I would have probably went for Brad, so I would have been in Lucinda's place.
I would
have went off.
If I'm honest.
You know, yeah, like if Brad was like, if we were picked, the two of us, and one had to go home, I would be like, shit, what do we do here now? So it probably would have been Brad, and then it probably would have been Liam. But I remember whenever Liam first went in, and I was still like, oh, there's no one in there I fancy, you know, like it was only whenever him and Millie got really cute, and I was like, actually, maybe I do fancy you, but he would have already been taken. So I'm not sure I would have coupled up with anyone. I think I would have been leaving that there single.
I think it probably was one of the worst years as well. Like, I think when we were watching, like at the start, you're sort of like, Jesus. Like,
I remember the start was painful. Like, me and like my sister and like my mum and all were like discussing. We were like, if they do ask you to go on, like, what's your limit? When do you not want to go past? And I was like, anyone that goes past a week, like, keep in mind here, if I'm being really honest, there's absolutely no way I was going on that show for love. Like, I did not. I was going on fully for the benefits whenever you come out of that. So I was like, I do not want to go in after a week, because I just was thinking of previous seasons, and anyone that goes in after a week, I can't even remember who they are. Like, the only one is Maura, and that's because she came in and just did whatever she wanted. I was not going to go on like that. So I was like to them, if they ask me to go in after a week, I'm not doing it. I just think it's social suicide. But with this season, you could have went in after 3 weeks, because nothing exciting was happening. Like, if I'd have known that there, I would have been like, oh yeah, I'll go in after like 3 weeks. But at the time, I remember if she asked me, I was going to say, if it's after like the first 7-8 days, don't bother.
Do they discuss that with you? Like,
no, they don't discuss it. They're really like, they don't really discuss much, to be honest. Like, I don't think they give you like the details until if you've got it, you know, and then they'll be like, okay, you have to do this and this and this. Like, you have to pass like psychological tests and all, and like you have to go and get those done. And I don't think obviously any of that is even like brought up in conversation until if you're told you get it, not, because not going to waste their time like having that conversation with everyone. It was very much just like, you know, like the phone calls were about like me and about the show and stuff, and then the interview was just like pretty basic questions about like my dating history and all. Like it wasn't really anything overly juicy going on there. So that was the Love Island tea.
I don't watch it, so like
do you not watch it?
Like, no.
I remember like Josh Denzel went on it, and like he was like a few years ago, but he would have done like Sports Bible and all, like their stories before, and then he went on and done well obviously, but like he said after he was doing podcasts, and he's like I went in because of my career. He's like like he came out and like he had far more followers, and he was doing like the Sports Bible stuff, and now he like does most of the stuff just on his own Instagram.
I mean, like no one in there is gonna go in for actual love. Like people do get lucky, you know. I believe that like Liam and Millie will stay together for ages. Obviously you've Molly, May and Tommy, they do well, but no one is going in there thinking I'm not going in here for anything other than followers and stuff like that.
So
you
many
know?
of them said it's like,
I'm
here for love.
At the end of my interview, she asked me, so she was like, so we have to ask everyone this question, like, are you going in for fame, money or love? And like she asked me, and I was like, and I was like sitting there hesitating, and then in my head I was thinking, why am I hesitating? And I was like, oh, love, obviously love, like I want a boyfriend. And she was like, yeah, okay. I was like, she knows it, right? I wish I turned around and said, oh, you'll have to wait to the final to find out. I feel like she would have sent me in then, but I didn't. I panicked and was like, yeah, love.
How you even want to like stand out with things? I got it done. But even this year I was like watched it, and I was like no one in this is going to come out and be doing like TV or nothing. Like I couldn't imagine anyone.
I know, I feel like they are trying to steer away from the whole like influencer people going in, like they're trying to have like really normal people with normal jobs and stuff, like not really influencers, because there was one person I think that did like social media, well two in it this year, but I think everyone else just had normal jobs, and that's what they're sort of looking for, which is good. It sort of is like making it look like it's steering away from people that want followers and stuff, but it's not.
But I think if you're going in, like that's what you need to be doing, because like if you come out of that and you've been in it for weeks, like how are you meant to get a normal job?
Like Hugo said he's going to go back to teaching. No. And I'm like, how are you going to go and be a teacher again?
Can you imagine he was your PE teacher or something? Like, there's no way you could, but like that's what I mean. It's like jobs I got, like how even like a corporate job, like if you were going to meetings and stuff,
I know, like you would never really be taken seriously again. Like that's something I did really consider whenever I was going in. Like my cousin was very much like, no, don't do it. Like she was like, you will be branded as this here for so long. Like look how hard Molly Mays had to work to get away from that their like title. Like she'll never discuss Love Island on like YouTube or anything. Like she said in one of her recent videos, she doesn't talk about it because she's trying to get away from that. And she was like, you're going to have to do all that there as well to get away from that their like reality TV profile. And I was like, yeah, I know. Like I did really consider that there as well.
But like she done YouTube before, didn't she?
Yeah.
So that I say that sort of maybe would have helped her, because she can be like, well, I was doing this.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the likes of Jake. He's like, wasn't he a plumber or something, wasn't he?
Was he?
He was a plumber or some sort of water engineer or something. But could you imagine the stick he'd get on site with all the the lads and the builders and all?
I think it would be good for like a few weeks or a few months when you're going out and people know you. But then it's just going to be like a year later, oh, you're that guy from Love Island.
I know, and I think that's why their mental health gets so bad, because you come out and you're sort of on a high and everyone like cares about you, and then next thing new season starts and like you're nearly like old news, and it's so like lousy because you're went from this high profile life to like a lot smaller.
Is there anything that if you got contacted by any crowd like TV, like anything that you'd be like, absolutely yes, and I'll do
I
it for
don't
nothing?
think so. Like I don't think I want to do like TV or anything. I don't know why, it just doesn't appeal to me. Like Love Island was obviously the only one because it was Love Island, but if it was like any other like TV show or anything, then I don't know. But I did actually say to Ellen there in the car, I really want to go and dance on ice. It's been like a small dream since I was younger. I was like, I want to be big enough to go on that. Seriously.
Like Strictly Come Dancing. Like.
No, because I can't dance.
Do you want to know what I was watching the
but
other
I
day?
I can ice skate, but I can't dance. But I think that's the only thing on TV I would consider doing.
I was watching this the other day and I'd love to go on that. You know the Cube?
Yes, the Cube. Yeah.
Because there was this one, and I was watching it as these two brothers, and like 40 balls all dropped on the floor, and they had to put them all back. And they spent got 3 attempts and couldn't get it, and I was just like, I'd smash that.
I think I could do well on the Cube, so
yeah.
I do think I could. Yeah. Yeah, that would
You
be
never
another
know.
one.
That's one of those things
ITV
that
could
it
see
looks
this.
easy, but it'd be tough whenever you're in the situation.
I don't think it would.
No
I think
bother.
we would smash
I
it.
don't think it would either.
He's two on the cube comes in.
Yeah.
But
You couldn't go on it. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference between you and what do you call him?
the white guy or
Philip Schofield.
Why is this happening all the
Twins.
time? Literally every single podcast. Because I have grey hair.
He brought it up.
Oh, how's Philip Schofield? Like, dead on. I'll do. You do mechanical engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, like, what is that the avenue you want to go down, or now because you've obviously got into like the YouTube scene and stuff? Like,
Yeah.
do you feel like you could keep the two going at once?
I do think, like, obviously whenever I was saying there about still having to go and get a job and stuff whenever I graduate, I do think it would be in my degree, like it would be mechanical engineering, because it's sort of what I've been working towards. Like, I don't believe you have to get a career in your degree. Like, people that think you do, I don't think you do.
Yeah.
But I think I want to, just because I have interest in it. But I already know now trying to juggle the two would be so difficult. Like, I'm not making enough from social media to consider having it as a job full time, so it's not really an option to me. I know I'm gonna have to get like a full time job and stuff if I want to like live away from home and all.
Yeah.
But like, I can barely juggle the two whenever I'm at uni, never mind an actual job. So whenever I think about it, like, it does stress me out. But that's definitely what I will be doing. So I'm gonna have to find a way to balance the two, because
would you consider going down like a different route with YouTube? Like, you see so many people doing all these like Reddit videos and like reacting and all this here. Like, do you feel like just to keep it going you would go, or is the style you have now the style you want to keep up?
I think the style I have is definitely what I want to keep doing, but I would like to try new videos. You know, like, I'm always up for doing new videos, but I don't know, I just never really get round to it. I think it's just because I'm in a routine of filming, you know, what I want to film and what I do. But I think it is good to keep trying new ones, because then you're just going to get like more audience and stuff, like new audience. But I don't think I would ever like completely like switch up the vibe. Like, I think it always sort of will be what I'm doing now, like vlogs and stuff, like, because I just think they're the most enjoyable ones for me to film.
What goes into like making a vlog for you? Like, what's the like process of, like, do you like sit at night and just like think what you're going to do the next day, or is it
Like,
just sort of casual?
Vlogs, every time I film a vlog, it's normally always like last minute. Like, I will be doing something that day and then I'm like, oh, maybe I should actually like vlog like the next few days or a week. Like, I would never really think in advance, I'm going to film a vlog next week, so I need to put things in. It is literally just sort of what I get up to. Like, there'll be days like in a week's vlog, like I've been vlogging this week, but I think there's 3 days I just didn't vlog anything because I was working and not doing anything. So I wouldn't really say a lot goes into it. I literally do just vlog like my days as they come.
And would you ever like force yourself to sort of be more like out there and like do more interesting things so that it spices the vlog up?
Yeah,
and stuff?
definitely. Like, I know I will be like, if I'm planning, like if I'm in the middle of filming a vlog and I'm like, I have not did anything in this vlog, then I will be like, right, I need to do something tomorrow, like something, you know, like I'll go for lunch or something like that there.
Would you ever watch back on stuff that you're going like to bed at the end of the night, you're like, oh, that was a shit day of filming, and then you maybe like watch it back and you're like, no, it's not too bad?
There's definitely been times where like whenever I've edited it, I'm like, this is not, like at the time I was like, oh, I thought this was really interesting, and then it all just gets deleted out. And like, there's even been videos that I've filmed and then I edit it and I'm like, this is like clean shite, I don't want this here.
Yeah.
So it's just like a massive waste of time and I don't put it up. But I'm like, at the same time, that's better than putting up a video that I don't think is good, because once people start to watch ones and they're like, oh, this isn't really for me, then they're not going to go and watch another one. Like, there's YouTubers that I've sort of watched a few of their videos and I'm like, no, like I don't really enjoy these, so then I've never went back and tried another one, you know.
Yeah, like a bad first impression.
Yeah. I just think because it's a video and like you're sitting down in your free time to watch it, like if you're not enjoying it, you're obviously just going to go off it, or if you're getting bored.
Yeah.
And like, I had a thought there in my head. Like, see with like the YouTube and stuff, like would you be quite like meticulous about like what goes in and what goes out? Like, would you be quite, because another thing I wanted to ask you was like, you've obviously been doing it for a brave like over
year and a half.
Yeah. Like, is there any stages where you've hit like a mental barrier where you're just like, because I feel like a lot of people who go down, it's not really widely talked about, but like the sort of mental health side where it's like you obviously feel like you have to have a certain style and like you have to, because you are essentially people pleasing, like, to put it very bluntly. Like, we release a podcast and one thing we always like, once we hit stop, it's like, do you think people like that?
Yeah, like straight away. Yeah.
So like, what is there any sides of that you've kind of like faced where you're like, oh shit, this is maybe too much?
I think at the start, whenever I was getting started, I was very much like still trying to figure out what I wanted to film and what people liked. And I remember that was difficult because I would be like trying new videos and then I would be like, I didn't really like that, but I feel like I want to put it up to see how it does. So I remember at the start it was a bit hard like that, and then also after the whole like Love Island thing, it was definitely like a big like mental block. Like after I didn't get it, I was a bit like, I don't know, I don't want to, not that I didn't want to do it anymore, but I was like, I have no motivation. Like I thought that I was going to go on here, my life was going to change, and now I'm just back to grafting, that type of thing. That was definitely a mental block, but I just picked myself up out of them, you know. Like sometimes you just go through those wee phases where you can't be bothered, and maybe if you think something's going to do, like if I put up a video and I think it's going to get like more views than what it did, and like I just can't let it annoy me too much. Like you just remind yourself that as much as you want it to be a job and stuff, you know, it's just not yet, and you'll get there. So
did that bother you much, like then not getting the Love Island thing? Like was it a not? Yeah,
it did really bother me at the time.
But why though? Like what was it about it?
I think it was because like sort of like relating there, like nothing really had been happening with YouTube for a while. Like it was like growing and stuff, but obviously, you know, you want opportunities to keep coming and stuff, and I think because I was doing quite well, and then all of a sudden like it's just so like you just can't predict what's gonna happen, like money wise and like brand deals wise and stuff, and like nothing was really coming from it. And then I just sort of was getting in my head like, oh my god, nothing's going to come. Like I was being really negative, and then Love Island contacted me, and I was like, maybe this is like my cheat now, like this is what's gonna happen, and it'll be really good. So then whenever I didn't get it, I was a bit like, great. I sort of thought I was going to get it, and also she was telling me on the phone, like from the way that she was going on, like I really thought that I was going to get it. Like it wasn't me being overconfident. The things that she was saying, like she was talking as if I had already got it. She was like, okay, so your birthday's this, so you'll be 21 in the villa. And I like just the way she was phrasing things, it's not like you would be 21. So maybe I was just like overthinking it, but like she was just constantly, you know, saying to me, you know, oh, I think you'll be like really good on here. But obviously now I'm like, she obviously just says that to everyone, so that, or they say that to everyone, so they really want to go on.
I suppose when they reach out to you as well, like they came to you, you're sort of like, but then for them to not, that just seems a bit weird. Like they came, because I think I was listening to Love Island, like one's a play, but like I was listening to a podcast with Dr. Alex, and he's saying, he's like, I got like 400 followers on Instagram, and like they just contacted me and were like, oh, I want you to come on, and then he done it. Like.
No, I think for that season and like Molly May's season, I think out of all the people that went in to actually applied, it was like a really low number. Like it is people that they like pick out to go on it. So yeah, that was definitely like a mental block, but I'm over that now. Love Island will never be happening. A part of me was like, I think they're contacting me so late for next year. Like I knew whenever she contacted me from the way that she was talking that she already had her people lined up to go in. And I was thinking in my head, like, why is she putting so much effort in? And someone was like, you know, they're probably just keeping people for next year as well. Like they're always looking all year round. And I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I don't know now, because if they dug into my social media, they would see how much I've slobbered about it. But I wouldn't have been surprised if she had have contacted me for next year. And I sort of thought maybe that's what they're going to do. And I wasn't sure if I was going to tell anyone about Love Island, because I was like, if they contact me, will I go in next year? But then like everything changed. Like I didn't want to go in, and like, you know, with my boyfriend that's not my boyfriend, like, you know, like everything sort of changed, and I was like, Love Island is not for me. So then I just told everyone, I was like, I'll never be going on this show, you know, it's not in my future plan. I will not be invited back now after all this talking about them. So
was there anyone on it you were watching, you're like, I would have been better than her?
Yeah, I was thinking I would be more, not Faye anyway, she was so entertaining, but I was thinking in my head, like, I would have been really entertaining on this show. So they're lost.
And when it comes to like the vlogging side of things, because I think that's something we're not going to start doing it. We have done
We
have done it. Because we were recording. It's really weird the way this whole thing came about, because we were recording a video and it was kind of meant to be like a set video. It's a bit like you were talking about earlier on, which I picked up on. You're like, this would be better in a vlog.
Yeah.
And then we switched it up and actually done it like a vlog. And to be fair, we thought it was going to be absolute tripe. And then you edited it and showed us like the first 2 minutes, and we were like, it's pretty good. Like
I
for
always
us anyway,
think
we're
that,
like, it's pretty good. Like I think it's just the fact that think a few people have picked up on that recently with our stuff, is that kind of just feels more like you're having like the crack with friends, if you know what I mean. Like it's less structured, and I think the fact that we've went about that with the vlogs, it's a bit more raw, if you know what I mean. So have you any advice?
Sorry, ask the question again. Like what's the advice? For vlogging. Well, one thing I always do in vlogs, which I would encourage not to do, is whenever you're vlogging with your friends, it's so easy to go off topic, and like you talk about things that you wouldn't keep in, like not that you're slabbering, but like you just discuss things as friends and forget the camera's there. And then I go to edit it and I'm like, we've wasted all this time, we've spoke about something that we're now talking about that's onto a new topic, and no one watching it's going to know how we started talking about like this new topic. So that's one thing that whenever I'm like vlogging with my friends, or like I used to always do mukbangs, and we would do it that mukbangs where you like mukbangs. Am I pronouncing it wrong?
I think it's mukbang.
I think it is. I think it is a mukbang.
I've never watched them, but I see them on YouTube.
Just
it's like where you literally just like eat in front of a camera and talk. You can do it on your own, you can do it with people, but like I've did them with like my sister and my friend, and every single time we'll start talking about something and you sort of forget the camera's there, like you forget you're talking to the camera. So I would advise that there. Other than that, the only advice for vlogs is to just like, you know, be yourself. Like just vlog everything, and you can edit what you want in, you can edit what you want out. So
take the dodgy bits.
Vlogs are fun, so they are. That's what I think about vlogs. Like they're not really like sit down videos. Like I think they're more fun.
And is there a stage where you're kind of like, maybe I shouldn't put this in, because like we were sort of discussing that before we hit record, this whole thing with your boyfriend who's not your boyfriend type thing, like is there certain bits where you feel like editing that, like I watched that video where you were talking about it, and you were kind of saying he's like my boyfriend but he's not my boyfriend, and I was just kind of sitting there going like I could never imagine
that situation,
that like disclosing that, like, you know what I mean, like I could never imagine just talking about that, whereas like obviously
that was like really nerve-wracking to talk about, only because like it's so much more awkward to talk about someone who you're not in a proper relationship with. Like any other time on YouTube, like whenever I've been seeing people, they've never came up in a like every time I do a question and answer, the questions will always be about boys. They're always like, are you seeing anyone, are you talking to anyone? But I will never answer them unless it is like a proper relationship. So that was hard, because like it's not a relationship yet, but I still chose to speak about it. But it's only because I know where it's going and stuff, and it's not that I'm not scared that to say anything about it. Like there's nothing to say. I just think it's like awkward because he's not my boyfriend.
I suppose like if you said you were single though, he meant to be a bit like
that is one thing I would be like. I don't think I forgot to mention it in that video of me just bluntly being like, I'm not single. Like I'm not. I would never speak to anyone else. Like I wouldn't look at anyone else, you know. But no, there's nothing I'd be careful not to say. I just think it's.
I think he knows now. Like it's time to.
I'd be surprised if he hasn't got the hint yet. Like, we watched the video, like, and we're like,
it's pretty obvious.
I hope he asks after he sees the video.
No,
send him the video and be like, I think you forgot.
I feel like it's gonna be one of those situations where it's not really going to be this big deal made about it, because like we have obviously spoke about it, and it was just stated that it was too soon for just loads of reasons. Like whenever you've been seeing someone for a while, like we have been, and there's been loads of ups and downs, like there's been loads of downs, and I think it will just be more of a thing. We'll be like, so are we now? Like it's not really going to be him asking. Like I would fully be like, will you ask me again now? And then like, oh my god, yeah, you know. I feel like
there's another hint.
But yeah,
just look at the camera if you're out there. It's time to get going. Well, this podcast about next Thursday, so like
next Thursday, okay.
Send us a wee update. We'll put it in at the bottom. We'll put it at the after it.
Yeah, another thing we were talking about before this was like, do you get many ones like sliding into your DMs or anything? Have you any like funny stories there? Or?
I mean, I get people sliding into my DMs, but a lot of them are obviously you just get like the random accounts that you don't know, and they're never really anyone like amazing. Like it's not like I've had like celebrities or anything. No, not really celebrities. I've had like a few footballers.
Seriously?
But they're not like
big footballers,
like Sunday League footballers,
well,
or like
no, like not anyone overly big, but like a lot of them are from teams that I don't know. well, I don't know anything about football.
So that's like soccer or Gaelic or.
Well, no, like football. So like they'll be. There's been a few. Soccer.
No. I'm with you on this one because that tricked me. That tricked me the first time. Because you were like football, and I was like, yeah, and you were like, oh, like palming it and all. And I was like, no, it's football, and you were like, no, soccer.
So soccer. So like they've been like verified and stuff. So they're probably like the.
Are they like Premier League footballers?
No, I don't think so. Like a lot of their teams, I don't know. I did for a while see a boy that played for Arsenal, but he played for Arsenal under 23s.
He's probably playing on the first team now, is he?
No, I don't think. No, he's not. I don't think so. So like, I feel like other than footballers, like there's not been really anyone else slide into my DMs. A lot of them I don't really know who they are.
Is there just some mad ones though that you get like
messaging,
like, you know, the ones you see is like really creative, like sort of ways to like sort of get there, if you
like
know
those
what I mean.
like really cheesy chat up lines and stuff. Yeah, there is like quite a few like that. But I mean, I haven't been replying to boys for a while now.
Because he's a boyfriend.
No, she doesn't have a boyfriend.
He's not a boyfriend.
But he is a boyfriend.
He's not a boyfriend, but he is a boyfriend, yeah. So like I haven't been replying for a while, and then once I posted him on my story, I hate the way I'm like him, like it's a big secret.
Yeah.
Once I posted him on my story, then like I noticed there was like a lot less, and that's another reason I wanted.
Followers just started to drop off.
They just decreased. And that's another reason I wanted to post him as well, so that then it would like
deter.
Just because it's not like I'm flooded with DMs or anything, but it just sort of shows in, because obviously like boys would think you're, you know, single if you're not posting anything. So I was like, that will help with that.
Well, we'll maybe wrap that up there.
Okay. Nice.
And you can give us an update then on the boyfriend, not a boyfriend type thing situation.
I will give you an update.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
I feel like we should also say thank you to the Just Jar who let us record here. Lovely building. We've recorded here before with, hopefully this goes the same as the Amy and Lena one.
We'll be wrapping this place out.
Exactly. 3-point-something million views. We're like, oh my god, we should go back here.
I think another thing that's just come to my head, this is going to be the first episode with our new intro music.
Ooh,
oh yes, we have new intro music.
Professional.
We'll let you hear it afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
But thanks for listening. This vlog's coming out on Sunday, so if you watched or listened to the video, go watch the vlog.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.